An effort to support a small local business backfired on a Lubbock church. It's a story our KCBD Investigates team has followed for nearly a year.
Tonight, that church tells us the criminal justice system did its job. Investigative reporter Shaley Kidwell has a story in tonight's Warning Signs report.
Karen and Abner, last year, St. Luke's Church paid Jared Castillo a little more than $10,000 as a deposit on a new church sign. They agreed to pay the remaining $8,000 when Castillo delivered the product, but that never happened. More than a year later, the church still doesn't have a sign, but tonight they do have accountability. St. Luke's Southwest Lubbock campus is about to get a new name and a new sign.
Scripture talks about the way and the way of Jesus, and so we've decided that that's how we're going to identify ourselves, and so we'll become the way, LBK.
Pastor Matt Wolfington hopes the changes will spark conversations about faith. But for more than a year, this current sign has only sparked conversations of frustration. Member Tim Reese provided a copy of the contract the church signed on April 25th, 2023, for a total of $18,375.
So you pay $10,000 up front. It was a little over $10,000, and then the other $8,000 when the job was done.
Where did the $10,000 come from?
From the parishioners of the church, and that's what hurts me the most.
Reese says Jared Castillo, the owner of LED Liquidator, never delivered the sign or returned the money.
I think it takes a special kind of person to want to do something like this to a church.
The KCBD Investigates team spoke with Castillo on the phone. He told us the church's sign was on the way, but then he stopped taking our calls. Through our investigation, we spoke with small businesses who claim Castillo took their money too. It's information we shared with Wolfington, who had already done some investigating of his own. You've been in touch with some of these other victims.
Oh yeah, I tracked a bunch of them down myself, and with your help, and I gave you some, and you gave me some, and we've talked to all those folks. I used to be in law enforcement, 2 decades ago, and so a pattern's a pattern, and a criminal's a criminal.
Some of the business owners filed police reports, but law enforcement told them it was a civil matter. And when they spoke with attorneys, they tell us they all received the same discouraging news.
The amount is big enough to make a big impact to a church like this, but small enough that the amount that you would spend in legal fees, it would probably be a wash at the end.
But Wolfington, with his background in law enforcement, remained hopeful.
There's some construction laws that are actually criminal when you violate those, and what most, I don't want to say they're obscure, but they're certainly not on the front pages of all the penal codes.
This week, Castillo pleaded guilty to a state jail felony of theft. He will serve 6 months in the Lubbock County Detention Center with credit for time served. He will also forfeit any contractor's licenses he may have. We spoke with Lubbock County Assistant District Attorney Greg German, who handled this case.
Have you seen any of our previous reporting on Mr. Castillo?
Yes.
Would you say that knowledge of those cases helped you prove criminal intent? Did they play a role in any part of this?
Yes, absolutely. I think it definitely helps our argument in proving, again, criminal intent to deprive somebody of their funds, not just a contractual dispute.
So he pleaded guilty.
Mm-hmm.
He's sentenced to 6 months in the county jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Credit for time served.
Yes.
Is that some level of justice?
Sure it is. We say around here, thank God, truly, that we don't get what we deserve. We get His grace and mercy, and so even Mr. Castillo is not getting what he deserves, even in my mind and heart, but he is getting justice.
Castillo's attorney declined to comment at this time due to his pending case in Gaines County. Our team has exclusively covered this story for nearly the past year. If you have something for our team to investigate, submit it at kcbd.com/tips. Karen and Abner,